everybody, and welcome to Lindsay's Little Library. I am super excited today to join in with the fun that Lisa from Books and Smiles and Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand have been having with their Booklist Thursday. They were super sweet and kind to invite me to play along with them, and I'm so excited. So here is my very first Booklist Thursday for you. Yay! Booklist Thursday is a series that we do that every Thursday we come out with a list of 5-ish or so books or thoughts or recommendations pertaining to a specific subject. So for today, it is a 5-star predictions review. So a while ago, I think the beginning of the year, Sarah and Lisa both did a 5-star predictions and picked 5 books that they thought they would give 5 stars. They gave themselves about 3 months to read them and then come back and share what they thought. So what I did is I went back to the books that I read since the beginning of the year. There's 15 of them that I went through, and I kind of off the top of my head picked the ones that I was super excited about and thought would be 5 stars, and I'm going to share them with you today. So let's get started. First one I have is The Wife Between Us by Greer Hendricks and Sarah Buchanan. I gotta show you this way because it is one that I got through the Bookish First website and I had it downloaded as a Kindle. So this book centers around a woman, Vanessa, who is kind of obsessed with the fiance of her ex-husband. So she is very into wanting to figure out what's going on and following her around and kind of stalkerish. It's a little crazy. It's really hard to describe. It is a true psychological thriller, and all I can tell you is just go pick it up. I did give it 4 stars. There was a few parts where it was a little slow, but still very good. Not quite the 5 stars I was hoping for, but still I would highly still recommend it and pick it up. The next book that I was very excited to read and thought for sure was going to be a 5-star book is As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meisner. I also read Susan Meisner's other book called Secrets of a Charmed Life, and it was fabulous, so I was pretty confident this was going to be a 5-star read for me, and it was. So the reason I don't have the actual book is because, of course, I've lent them to a friend of mine, so I want other people to enjoy it. This centers around a family who is going through and surviving really the Spanish flu. The Spanish flu was a huge epidemic that happened during World War I. It killed more people than the plague did. Spread really quite quickly and easily throughout the entire world. It was pretty crazy. So it was very interesting to learn about the Spanish flu, which I didn't know a lot about, and then to also follow this one family's journey through that really horrible incident. And I love it that it didn't just end at the end of the flu. It really showed the consequences of some decisions they made during that really hard time, much further on in down the line. So really great book. Totally gave it 5 stars. As Bright as Heaven by Susan Meisner. You gotta pick that one up. The next book I picked up and was super excited about is Lincoln in the Bardo by George Saunders. This takes place in one night. It is based upon the son of Abraham Lincoln, Willie, who passes away. He got really sick and he passes away, and they bury him in the cemetery, and he basically becomes a ghost and starts living amongst the other ghosts in this cemetery. I was super excited about this book. I love the paranormal element of it. I love the historical fiction element of it. I love anything about Abraham Lincoln. I think he's a very fascinating man, but it totally fell flat for me. It is written really unique, and I just couldn't get past that, and I ended up not finishing this book. I tried, let's see, I still have my bookmark in it. I gave it about 100 pages, which is about my rule or my limit. I don't know, I may come back to it because when I can get the story part of it, I really like it, but the writing is very unique and different, so I was having a hard time following it, so that one kind of fell flat for me. The next 5-star prediction that I had ended up being a total 5-star book, and this is, I mean, you've heard me talk about this book probably 1,000 times before, but it's The Great Alone by Kristen Hanna. Guys, I love Kristen Hanna to begin with. She's one of my absolute favorite authors, so I knew going into it right away I was going to love it. I was slightly nervous because The Nightingale, which was her release right before this, was so unbelievable that I wasn't sure what was going to come next and if it was going to live up. And you can't compare them at all, but man alive, this blew me away. It was so good. So this follows a family who, it's like the 1970s. The husband just came back from the Vietnam War. His name is Ernst. And he's got some PTSD problems. It's at a time that PTSD wasn't really recognized as something that could be treated. So they moved to Alaska thinking, if we can live off the grid, if we can kind of go to a small town, and maybe that will help some of the issues he has. So they arrived during summer. The town is super welcoming, super helpful. It's great, but summer in Alaska is much, much different than winter in Alaska. So things definitely take a turn, and man alive, you go on quite a ride with this. So highly recommend that. 5-star read all over the place. Pick that up. And my last 5-star prediction is another book that I picked up and have already borrowed to a friend of mine, but I got it through Book of the Month, and it is The Woman in the Window by A.J. Finn. This is his debut novel, and for a debut novel, this completely blew me away. I was super excited to read it to begin with because just the premise of the book had me very interested, and I had very high expectations, and he did not let me down. 5 stars all over the place, but this follows a woman who is suffering from a condition that she cannot leave her apartment. Something happened in the past with her, and she just can't leave. So she's living there by herself, and she spies on her neighbors to kind of pass the time, and she watches old black and white movies. So while she's spying on her neighbors, she sees something happen that's not good, and she's not really sure what to do with it. And wow, does it ever take you on a ride from there. So highly recommend picking this up. Great, great read. So that's it. Out of the 5-star predictions that I had for the kind of first few months of 2018, 3 of them ended up being 5 stars. 1 was a 4-star, and 1 I didn't finish. So that's not too bad of odds. I think that's pretty good. So thank you to Sarah from Sarah's Nightstand and Lisa from Books and Smiles for letting me join in on Booklist Thursday. It's super fun, and I highly recommend that you go to their channels. I'll leave them in the comments below, and check out what their list of books is for today. Otherwise, like, comment, subscribe below, and I will see you next time. Bye!